am Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. Another Facebook scandal. Is it time to log off entirely?
But this fundamentally is what we're trying to solve. We've all been there many, many times. We must solve this soul-destroying traffic situation.
The Boring Company and Elon Musk show off their new tunnel, and they have high hopes for what it may achieve. What the f? And we'll tell you why these crooks are getting covered in glitter. Now, top of our newsfeed, Facebook. Is it time to finally close your account? Now, more and more detail has emerged of how the site gave away their users' information and made a bunch of money in the process. Here's Akanksha.
Yet another privacy scandal has hit Facebook. According to a report by the New York Times, the social media giant gave more than 150 companies special access to users' personal data, essentially exempting Facebook's business partners from its privacy rules. And these accusations involved some of the biggest names in tech. Microsoft's Bing search engine could see the names of nearly all users' friends without their consent. Spotify, Netflix, and the Royal Bank of Canada were allowed to read, write, and delete users' private messages. Amazon could get users' names and contact information through their friends. Yahoo was allowed to see real-time feeds of friends' posts as recently as this year, despite Facebook's claims that it had stopped this feature. Russian search giant Yandex had access to unique user IDs up until 2017. The company has been accused by Ukraine of providing user data to the Kremlin last year. The report says hundreds of millions of people each month had their data accessed by companies. These data partnerships date back to as far as 2010 and were all still active in 2017. In response to the report, Facebook's Director of Privacy and Public Policy denied that users' privacy had been violated.
Facebook's partners don't get to ignore people's privacy settings, and it's wrong to suggest that they do. Over the years, we've partnered with other companies so people can use Facebook on devices and platforms that we don't support ourselves. Unlike a game, streaming music service, or other third-party app which are experiences that are independent of Facebook, these partners can only offer specific Facebook features and are unable to use information for independent purposes.
These revelations are just the latest in the series of privacy and security scandals to hit Facebook. Founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg has been questioned by lawmakers and regulators in the US and Europe. They are facing growing pressure from shareholders and employees to fix the platform's privacy problem.
So this was a major breach of trust, and I'm really sorry that this happened. We have a basic responsibility to protect people's data, and if we're to have the opportunity to serve people. So our responsibility now is to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
With anger rising among users and some celebrities joining the Delete Facebook movement, is this the moment of truth for the world's largest social network?
And there have been so many other Facebook problems this year that we couldn't fit them all into a Akanksha's piece. Here's a few more. Now, there was a huge hack a couple months ago which compromised the data of some 30 million users. They've been accused of essentially facilitating war crimes and genocide in Myanmar. And after it was revealed that Russian trolls used Facebook to manipulate African-American voters, the National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People, or NAACP, are calling for black people to boycott the site. Now, a boycott is going to change anything? Probably not. It's a stretch to think that Facebook is designed to be manipulated, but its design does allow it to easily manipulate. It's a platform that was started by a guy in his college dorm room to rate the attractiveness of fellow students. Now it's become the internet for hundreds of millions of people. And that's a problem. It's not the internet. And another problem, Facebook doesn't know what it is. One thing it is making lots and lots of money by selling your data and allowing companies to advertise to you. So maybe it is time to log off completely. Now, Elon Musk and the Boring Company showed some journalists around their new proof of concept tunnel in Los Angeles. Mr. Musk has long wanted to prove he can improve the way people move around cities. This could be the future of transport, and the fact he uses his own tech to bore into the ground is impressive, even if this prototype journey wasn't that great.
This fundamentally is what we're trying to solve. We've all been there many, many times. We must solve the soul-destroying traffic situation. The way the loop would work is that you'd have main arteries that are traveling at 150 miles an hour, and only when you want to go to an exit would you have an off-ramp. So you can travel the vast majority of your journey without stopping at 150 miles an hour, and only slow down when you get to your exit.
All right, let's have a look at some other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, Penny Marshall has died at the age of 75. She was a legendary Hollywood director behind the films A League of Their Own and Big, which was the first movie directed by a woman to make more than $100 million. She was also in a well-loved American sitcom called Laverne and Shirley in the late 70s and early 80s. The Forbes Celebrity Rich list is out, and it's topped by the guy who directed the first Star Wars movie, Mr. George Lucas. He's worth $5.4 billion. Oprah Winfrey is third with $2.8 billion, and Jay-Z is tied fifth with Kylie Jenner, who both have $900 million. And Carlton is suing the makers of Fortnite and NBA 2K over the use of a dance he did on a TV show in the 90s. The actor, who's called Alfonso Ribeiro, used to do the move in the sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He regularly does it whenever he gets himself on TV nowadays. He's currently presenting America's Funniest Home Videos. The dance is used in games as emotes when a player wins. Now, Carlton's lawyers say the games consistently sought to exploit African-American talent, in particular Fortnite, by copying their dances and movements and then selling them through emotes. Now, a far-right movement that look for a long-gone mythical time when only white people lived in Europe are gaining strength as more historical ignorance and hatred spreads throughout the internet.
C'est contre qui? Une mosquée, n'importe quoi. Même voiture bélier, je prends ma voiture.
This member of a far-right movement, Generation Identity, exposed by Al Jazeera's undercover reporter, describes how he would murder Muslims.
Je laisserai ma carte d'identité sur la banquette, c'est comme il fait les djihadistes. Puis contre Olivier, il revient le Yémen. Tout ça, merde. Ok, d'accord. Fond de 5e. Là, t'en vas la fin. Tu repartis. Pour le peu, je meurs pas. Pendant le carnage, hop, j'en refais un autre.
GI is one of Europe's fastest-growing far-right movements. The group describes itself as patriotic and claims to be non-violent and non-racist. It was set up in France in 2012 and now has branches in many European countries, including Italy, Austria, Germany, and the UK. GI sees Europe's identity as white and Christian, and claims that white people in Europe are being replaced by ethnic minorities, calling for non-whites to be relocated from the continent.
We are the youth of Europe, we are your youth, and we shall not disappoint you. Long live the identitarian movement, fight for the reconquista.
GI first came to prominence in France in 2012, when 73 protesters occupied a mosque in Poitiers for more than 6 hours. In July 2017, the group launched an unsuccessful boat mission called Defend Europe to prevent the arrival of refugee rescue ships in the Mediterranean Sea. So is Generation Identity really as non-violent and non-racist as it claims?
Now, people's rights to choose whether they boycott Israel because of the government's treatment of Palestinians is being undermined all across America. This latest example comes from Texas.
It's baffling that they can throw this down our throats, and decide to protect another country's economy versus protect our constitutional rights.
let's go around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. It will take women 2 centuries to achieve pay parity with men. That's according to the World Economic Forum. 202 years, to be precise, of women earning less than men for doing the same job. Now, instead of shattering the glass ceiling, it seems to be there for at least another couple hundred years rather, not centuries. The only nation on Earth with gender equality in terms of work and pay is Iceland. A new startup called Le Court News will be run by 2 men who were told to leave their previous jobs, in Michael Oresky's case for repeated allegations of sexual harassment, and in John Moody's case for writing a column that described the US Olympic team as darker, gayer, different. The site will apparently offer its users balanced news without the use of algorithms. It's been founded by a former Fox News exec called Ken LaCourte, who says he's not too egotistical to say he's going to save journalism, but he'll try, with a site named after him. There has been a spike in old dears in South Korea committing crimes. There's been a 45% increase in people over the age of 65 breaking the law. Now, in one case, a 70-year-old assaulted a delivery driver because he thought his parcel was late. Turns out he'd forgotten his parcel had been delivered 2 days earlier. A city in China called Langfang is banning Christmas decorations as it attempts to keep the streets clean of tats. They're going for what everyone wants at this time of year, an award from the National Civilized Cities Committee. It's highly prized, apparently.
Butterfly doors, space cool, blow up like a UFO. Whoa. Smoking on dope. Damn. They call me all mean, cause my eye real low.
A social media rapper called Lil Pump put this video on his Instagram, and it features gestures offensive to Chinese people. It's been watched millions of times, and it's for his song Butterfly Doors. But Chinese rappers were not having any of it, and the state-sanctioned collective called Chengdu Revolution hit back with this response. Yes, this is really happening, and this group have hit back at criticism of China before. They made a song about the Swedish government when some Chinese tourists were kicked out of a lobby of a hotel there because they tried to check in too early. Now, a new amphibian has been discovered. It's blind and buries its head into the sand, and it's been given an apt name. Dormorphis Donald Trumpi grows to 10 centimeters in length and is found in Panama. An auction to name the animal was won by an environmentalist who said the creature's behavior mirrored that of President Trump when it came to taking climate change seriously. Now, people steal other people's stuff all the time, so one US engineer decided to try and get his own back when the cops wouldn't help. Mark Rober designed a trap to shame those who would steal things from other people's property. The dummy package is armed with a glitter bomb and a fart spray that goes off once the box is opened. It's also got a hidden camera to catch the porch pirates' reactions. This video has now been viewed 23 million times.
No way! Look at my car, dude! Everything! Oh my god, I don't know what this is.
Come on, bro. What's that smell? Ooh. This is
That will learn you. That's all from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter and YouTube. Follow and subscribe. See you again tomorrow.